say Twende. That means let's go. So, Jumbo friends, my name is James. I will be your safari guide as we make our journey today through the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Do just have a couple very important safety reminders before we head out there. First and foremost, you must remain seated with hands, arms, feet, legs inside the truck at all times, keeping the facial covering over your mouth, chin, and nose for the entirety of your journey today, as well as your entire time in the park, except while actively eating or drinking while stationary in distance from other parties. This is a photo safari, so take all the photos or videos that your heart desires, but do be advised that I can't stop for every single animal we see out there today. They don't always stop for me, so I can't always stop for them. Have your phone's cameras out ready on an action or sport setting to get those best possible photos today. Now keep a tight grip onto anything you might have in your hands or on your head. It is going to be a bumpy ride out there. No paved roads here in Harambe. So keep a tight grip onto any loose articles such as phones, cameras, hats, glasses, first one, last one, children, anything you'd like to exit this truck with today. Make sure you keep a tight grip on it because Twende, here we go. Starting off our journey in the Little Aturi Forest, home to many shy and reclusive animals that like to use natural markings to work as camouflage to hide from predators. Already seeing an okapi to the right-hand side, with black and white stripes on their legs, leads many to believe that they might be related to the zebra. In reality, though, they are not. Okapis are the only living relative to the giraffe, having the same skull structure and long prehensile tongue, which helps them grab on to lots of different types of vegetation while out there. Also to the left, some western mountain bongos. Bongos are nicknamed the ghost of the forest for their extremely shy and reclusive nature. They are hardly ever seen. A small grouping of greater kudu as well over here to the right. Greater kudu, we can tell these are female by the fact that there are no horns on top of their head, while the males can have long spiraling horns that reach 6 or 7 feet long. These are the second largest antelopes on the reserve. Sadly, many animals that live in deep, dense forests, not just in Africa, but across the entire globe, will be experiencing in recent years a great deal of habitat loss due to deforestation. So I can't stress to you enough the importance of recycling, especially your paper products. It's the little stuff that we do today, where a few generations down the line can make a really big impact. The animals like the black rhinoceros over to your left. Black rhinos weigh about 2,000 to 3,000 pounds. Sadly, though, less than 5,000 remain in the entire world today. They're heavily poached for their horns, which many believe carry medicinal properties. In reality, though, they are just made up out of keratin, the same material to make up your fingernails and your hair, so no medicinal property whatsoever. Also, we're going to see a large bird down here to the left. That is a saddle-billed stork. Stands about 5 feet tall and has an 8 to 10 foot wide wingspan. That does make it the largest of Africa's storks. Headed towards the Safi River next today, and are home to some animals that maybe like to have an outlet to the water because they don't like to be exposed to sunlight for extended periods of time. Animals such as the Nile hippopotamus that you see a pair of napping down here to the right. They do have very sensitive skin, but not being quite as bothered by the cool weather we've been having. So, getting out on the land for a nap today. Born at around 85 pounds, can grow to be up to 5,500 pounds when fully grown. Hippos, though, are dubbed by many to be the most dangerous animal in all of Africa because of their extremely territorial nature. Not an animal to be taken lightly when they start to get aggressive. Some pink-backed pelicans as well to the left. Pelicans are one of the oldest genus of animals still alive today. Their fossil records date back to more than 40 million years ago, so they've definitely withstood the test of time, and there's still 8 different species of pelican who live to tell that tale today. Some more hippos over here, taking a nap on the left. And as we head across this bridge, we then start to see Nile crocodile. Nile crocs can be 12 to 20 feet long. That's as long as a giraffe is tall. It's absolutely massive, having the bite force of 2,000 to 3,000 pounds per square inch inside those jaws. When laying dormant underneath the water, they'll be older It's very adept at staying perfectly still, waiting for potential prey to come by, and then snap into action. Does look like the trees are starting to thin out up here, heading out of the forest and river and into the Serengeti grasslands of the savannah, home to many of Africa's more migratory species that like to come and go across the vast open fields in search of fresh water, trees, or grasses to graze upon. Unlike animals in the forest that can use the dense trees to help camouflage and hide from predators, they don't really have that advantage out here in the savannah, so animals will have to rely on their wits and their speed to get away from some of the predators. And right when we drop down to the bottom, we're already going to see some wildebeest over here. Wildebeest are known to live in herds of sometimes over 1.5 million in a single herd. They believe in strength in numbers, so the more of them, the less likely they are to get singled out by a predator. So they are the second most condensely populated animal in the world, second behind only us as humans. Some mountain zebra head on the right as well. Thinner stripes by their head get progressively thicker the further down on their bodies that they go. And to answer the age-old question, zebras are black with white stripes, not white with black. You can tell it by the black crowning that's on their noses. Even a baby over there, probably looking to still be less than a year old, based on how thin that frame is. Over here past the rock den on the left, though, there's going to be a pack of African wild dogs, kind of tucked, laying down back there. They're also known as the painted dogs for their beautiful painted furs. They are part of the canine family, so related to the dogs that some of you might have at home, but I would not suggest trying to take them home with you, as they are some of the fiercest predators in the entire world, having about a 90% success rate when they hunt. Extremely durable, can stalk and chase their prey for hours at a time. A whole bunch more of these wildebeest over here, as well as a sable antelope laying down to the left. They have the long curved back horns, will make them one of the few antelopes that can actually fight back against predators rather than having to just try and outrun them instead. Another adult and baby zebra over here as well. When first born, a zebra is going to have about 75% fully grown adult legs already. So they're born with some pretty long legs and then very tiny frames that they then fill out throughout those first several years of their lives. Oh, and a lot of activity looking like on this hillside that's coming up here on our left. Colby cattle with those massive 4 to 6 foot long horns way up there. They're also known as the Watusi cattle, after the Watusi tribe that first domesticated them. And then some giraffe as well. The tallest animals on Earth, usually about 14 to 18 feet tall when they're done growing. These are Maasai giraffe. We can tell they're Maasai by the more uneven, splotchy fur coloring that's on their skin. Giraffes do spend basically all day thinking about one thing and one thing only. That is food. 16 to 22 hours of a giraffe's day is spent either actively eating or grazing to see what they'd like to eat next, while only about 30 minutes of their day is usually spent sleeping. They like to take their sleep in 5 to 10 minute power naps throughout the course of their day. The very small antelope over here on your right, some Springbok. Springbok only about 3 feet tall, but they're quite athletic, able to jump over 6 feet in the air and 13 feet across in a springing motion and known as pronking. You're going to get an excellent view of a few more Maasai giraffe up here as well. Great perspective as to just how tall these animals really are. You'll probably also get a view of that tongue. That giraffe's tongue is a dark purple color. That's because they have so much sun exposure for how much time they're eating throughout the day. If they had the same pink coloring that our tongues have, they would get really badly sunburned. So they have the darker coloring on their tongues to help prevent that from happening. Beginning to approach some trees that have been knocked down up here. A good sign that we could be headed for elephant country soon today. Elephants, now they don't knock down these trees on purpose. They're usually just looking for something to scratch their sides up against. Don't always know their own strength, so they will occasionally knock over a tree or two in the process. And there are indeed 2 African elephants over to the right. The largest land mammals on Earth, weighing in at about 12,000 pounds on average when fully grown. To be that large, you need a pretty steady diet. They eat about 300 pounds of vegetation in a single day. They require that to maintain a happy, healthy lifestyle. Sadly, animals like the African elephant going to be experiencing a great deal of habitat loss in recent years, caused by expanding human population. Populations are growing at rapid rates nationwide and worldwide. That causes a lot of more land and natural resources being used up. So there's a very fine line we need to walk over these coming decades where we still accommodate expanding human populations while still trying to preserve habitats which have belonged to animals like the African elephant for thousands of years. It sounds like a pretty daunting task at hand, but we can all be part of that change in our own daily lives by reducing, reusing, and recycling. Call it the 3 R's of conservation. You reduce your use of natural resources, find reusable alternatives to single-use products, and always recycle not just your papers and plastics, but there's a lot more you can recycle in your daily lives as well, such as your electronic devices. Things like cell phones, cameras, and laptops all contain a product called coltan. Coltan is heavily mined for across elephant and gorilla habitat in Africa, but it's 100% reusable. So if everyone were to just recycle their old electronic devices, we could make a really big difference in the lives of some of these animals and try to help save these habitats which are being lost at such alarming rates. Even us, continents away from Africa, we can still make a big difference over there for generations to come by making some really simple, small changes in our daily lives. So I highly encourage you guys, make sure you are thinking about what the choices you make today are and how they affect our planet going forward. We will indeed see another few elephants over here on the left, kind of hanging out behind these trees over here. Hopefully we'll get a little bit of a better view of them. Does look like we're stopped up ahead though. There have been some reportings of animals in the road, so we're going to go what we call poli-poli. That's Swahili for slow. African elephants are led by a dominant matriarch, so it is a female-led society. The matriarch, usually one of the oldest and wisest of the herd. It is the job of the matriarch to remember everywhere that they have traveled, to go ahead and remember to migrate to correct areas across the savannah throughout the year to find the most plentiful water and food sources. This just looks like a pair of brothers trying to test one another, see who might be the strongest of the two are. Definitely still juvenile males, not quite at fully adult ages yet. And we're going to head around this island to see greater flamingos. They are the largest and lightest pink in color of the world's flamingo. When they first hatch completely gray, no pink whatsoever, they develop that coloring over the first year or two of their lives through their diet by eating lots of brine shrimp high in beta-carotene, giving them that pink color. Crossing the road in front of us here by the looks of it. 3 Cemetar horned Oryx up ahead here. Oh, looks like they're going to stop up in the road as well. We're going to give them a little bit of space, but hopefully they can move so we can keep on moving here as well. The Cemetar horned Oryx is one of the most resilient animals in the world. They can go 9 months without drinking any water. Won't even begin to sweat until their internal body temperature is about 115 degrees Fahrenheit. In years past, oftentimes they've been known to bonk their head against something and actually lose one of those horns. So a lot of people thought that these Oryx were real-life unicorns, just walking around with one long horn on top of their heads. Heading around to this hillside on the left, folks, looking like up ahead there's going to be a few cheetahs laying down. Cheetahs, they are the fastest land mammals on Earth. Accelerate 0 to 60 miles per hour in less than 3 seconds and reach top speeds altogether of about 70 miles per hour. They are, however, sprinters, not distance runners, only maintaining that great speed for less than 30 seconds before they begin to tire and will shortly thereafter have to lay down, take a full and complete rest. Headed from Big Cat territory to more Big Cat territory up here, this rock formation called a kopie, most notably known to be the homes of lions. We might not see a lion just quite yet today. They do sleep about 16 hours a day, getting most active late at night when they'll have much improved vision. So they like to rest up, preserve their energy during the day, and then get more active when they have the competitive advantage when it comes to hunting during those nighttime hours. And we are in luck today, folks. Up on the left-hand side, I'm seeing a male lion as well as a female lioness tucked back there as well. There will be a dominant male amongst every pride of lions, however, it's the female lioness who are the hunters of the group. Males prefer to stay back and act as a babysitter over the pride, while the females go off and do the hunting as part of a group effort to feed the pride. Lions also have one of the most powerful voices in the world. A full-powered lion roar will be heard from 5 miles away in an open savanna. Oh, and it does look like we're going to have a pretty large guest around the corner. Blocking the truck up ahead of us, there is going to be a white rhinoceros, looking like he's starting to move out of the road. So hopefully we can get an up-close and personal view with that white rhino here in a second. I'm also seeing some warthogs up ahead. Looking like a lot of activity happening around this next corner here. this is just going to be another quick reminder, folks. Some of these animals are going to get very close to the trucks. We need everyone to stay quiet and respectful. Do not call out to them, and especially do not put hands, arms, feet, and legs outside of the truck. Everything inside the truck, make sure we stay quiet and respectful. First off, warthogs on the left, guys. They're the largest burrowing animals in Africa. They back themselves into burrows with their tusks facing outward. But absolutely gorgeous. These white rhinos, we're going to hang tight as he does look like he's going to hop on into the road here real quick. White rhinos weigh over 5,000 pounds when they're fully grown. Unlike the black rhino, these guys are going to live in more social groups known as a crash of rhinoceros. They're very large, but they don't have the best eyesight. Can only see clearly about 10 feet in front of them. After that, it gets pretty blurry. That's why you see the ears moving around a lot independently from one another, so they can get a pretty good gauge on what their surroundings are like. And over on the right as well, folks, an ostrich. Ostrich are the largest, heaviest birds in the world. They cannot fly, but they can reach about 45-mile-an-hour speeds on land. Even some ostrich eggs down there on the right. A single ostrich egg weighs about 3 to 5 pounds, the equivalent of more than 2 dozen chicken eggs per every singular ostrich egg. Really awesome, though, that we got to see those white rhinos so up close. Definitely not an encounter that you get every single day. My friends, as we approach the warden's post up here, that does mean it's about time for us to head back on into the village now. I do hope that we are able to see some of your favorite animals out there today. Maybe even learn some fun new facts along the ride as well. I'll always highly encourage, come back, see us again here at Kilimanjaro Safaris. No two safaris will ever be the same. You just never know what you might find out there. It is definitely wild, to say the least. I also hope we exit this truck with the thought of conservation in our minds today, and what it is that you can do in your daily lives to help out wildlife both locally and globally. Whether it be by taking those simple steps like reduce, reuse, recycle, you can even take it a step further, volunteer some hours at an animal shelter, always keep that set of hands. Even if you have the means, donate to a conservation fund, such as the Disney Conservation Fund, who has sent over $85 million to over 100 different non-profits around the globe. You can make a donation to the Disney Conservation Fund in any merchandise location in the park today. Disney will also match any and all donations dollar for dollar, no matter how much or how little. So if you donate $1, that's $2 getting donated on your behalf to help out animals like the lions, rhino, and giraffe we had the privilege to see today. And folks, you are going to notice that some guests are getting dropped off at these docks up ahead, but we are not going to be dropping you off up here. We're going to take you all the way back around to where we originally picked you up to then get you back on your adventures. So you're going to be here with me for a few more minutes here today as we do make our way all the way back around to our original departure location.